y'all. Welcome back. And this is Nikki Buchanan, and you are listening to How to Be Magical. And today we have a very special guest, somebody that I've known for many, many years since we was kids. Consider each other to be family, truly. I call him cousin. Giovanni Luna is here on the show today. At the
Hola,
podcast.
hola, hola, hola.
Um,
¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está?
yes, yes, yeah. Está bien, está bien. We're calling We're calling this episode From Taft to the Astral Plane
Yes,
because Gio is coming live from El Barrio, East Harlem, Taft
that's
House
right.
all day. And yeah, I just think like I don't know, we've had such a unique friendship all of these years, and he's somebody who like I said, I genuinely consider him to be family, and I'm very excited to talk with him today and share him with y'all because he
Thank you, thank you.
very unconventional dude. So how you doing today, cousin?
I'm feeling good. I'm here, just and well, chilling in the light, getting my little smoke on. Happy to be in good conversation with my cousin right now. Happy to be a guest, you know?
Nah, thank you. Thank you for coming. Like, I feel like, there's a lot of things about you that I truly love. And it's so funny because mommy, mom is always in awe of the fact that I'm still friends with people from like junior high school, elementary school. But I'm like, I don't know, that's me. I'm down, I'm ride or die. We friends,
Yeah, we friends for life
for
type shit.
life. Like you stuck with
For
me.
life.
And she didn't know that she used to go to Dr. Hyman's dojo, right? She used to
Oh
work
yeah.
time. She did like some bookkeeping for him once upon a time. So she didn't know, like she had no idea that you was like into like
Oh man.
vampire life, like that you was into karate. Like she had no clue. And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, mom."
Yeah.
Like he was
Dr. Hyman, yeah, he was my guy, man. It's like I miss him. I
he
think
like
I live in his lessons every day. Every day I walk around with his lessons. Even by the way I stand on the train, by the way I listen to things behind me. It's crazy. Like not only did he set me up for life to be secure in this world in the physical space, but he allowed my daughter to walk around in a complete security in New York City where she feels like she can go outside at night, she can defend herself, and it's just one of the best gifts that he's ever given my family and a lot of members of my family, not just me and my daughter. Like a lot of people that are related to me have been his students in one way or another. So I was just very blessed to have him in my life, even from when I was just, a young kid, as a 13, 12-year old, hanging out at the dojo at 2, 3 in the morning, or just like an adult, like a dad, just having to hang out with another dad and learning dad stuff, like he was just the man. And he's one of my guardian angels. He rolls around with me and he protect me a lot, keep a light around me, hopefully. And yeah, I miss him a lot. He's one of my guys.
yeah, of course. The Harlem Karate Institute was a major institution, like you said,
Definitely.
for a lot of people in the community. And you know, it's so funny. I don't know if you know this, but there used to be a dude that rented space from Dr. Hyman who was like who he used to sell incense. It was like an older dude, like not that much older, but he used to have
Nah.
locks, a dark skinned dude with locks. That was one of my first jobs working for him making incense.
Oh wow. I don't think I know who that is. True.
So
That's funny.
that's something that we're gonna have to touch on in the course of this episode.
That's
How
funny.
our paths have been crossing for almost like we talking about 30 years now of just like
Those are heavy incense too. Those
yo
I remember those stay on you for a while.
for a while. Like that was my
Yeah,
job.
those
Like
are
roll
hand
the
dipped.
incense
Yeah,
in the oils and then like pack them in the bags and put the labels on. Like that was literally my job. That was one of my first jobs. That was like 2001. I remember like that was
Doc. Everybody tells me like Doc gave me or he somehow some of you jobs, even people work at some of you. He gave kids in my neighborhood like just place to hang out and place to be somewhere and
be
do
safe,
something positive. Yeah,
like
be safe, a safe place.
a
He
safe
offered a safe place.
he genuinely had a safe
Yeah,
place. And
he
I
definitely
definitely
did.
always remember it being a lot of spiritual energy in that building. Like just
Yeah, there definitely was.
there was a lot of
There definitely
energy
was.
in that building. So how would you say that like that place and even like your time, um oh man, we talked about this before, but like growing up watching certain anime or whatever, like everybody knows, like Dragon Ball Z was like
Right. So I could tell you, I could give you a quick one. For instance, he taught me about energy. Like I always used to think energy was fake. I used to think it was just like, you know, I'm talking about by the age of about 13, 14 years old. And you're a teenager, you think you know everything, you don't know nothing. So he goes, I'm like, oh, that stuff is fake, that's all on TV, that's all whatever, right? He goes, hold this, Grinch, hold this phone book right there. He puts the phone book to my chest. And he just goes like that with his hand, like that, and you see that shit vibrate, and pop! Yo, every fucking bone in my body just like all snapped at the same time. He did not move his hand really much. He just like really just like touched that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so gentle. It wasn't a punch. He didn't punch me. He literally released his energy, and people would not believe it unless you were there. And a lot of people were there and they saw it. I was not making it up, and it was just crazy because that's when I realized, oh, you could do shit like that. Like there's people that could do shit like that. So he did teach me not to be so naive to the science, because he would always say, I don't teach martial arts, I teach martial science. And he was a doctor of that. So he would apply that to a different level where he would take his martial arts became a spirituality, and then he broke that spirituality down into a science, and then he tried to give that to others. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why he had that energy where people would radiate towards him, and he kept people safe. You know what I mean? He's a good dude.
Nah, that's real. And it just goes to show you like how one person's influence can like cause like a ripple in the community, like truly, like on multiple levels,
Definitely.
because like we talking about it like it just happened. This is like over 30, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, right. This was like in the year 2000, the year 1999 or something like that. And he's like, Grinch, just hold this phone book to your chest. I'm like, all right. Like, what's he gonna do? It's like that thick, And he just gently hit it like, boom, and well, it's just right there. It enlightened me right there. I got enlightenment. Like, oh shit, this is for real. There's other things that are at play into the world that even if you can't see them,
even if you can't,
they real.
It exists, right?
Yes.
And I think that like I don't know, like I said, growing up and going to school in Spanish Harlem, and like living in Brooklyn and just like traveling around the city for my whole life, I feel like I learned that lesson really early, and my mom gave me that like you got to be aware, you got to pay attention, and then you got to pay attention to the things that you don't see, like
Right.
there's a lot of things, now we talking about growing up in crack era New York City, right? We talking about energy,
Right.
like on 10.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is out their mind, bugged, but like you still got to go to school. You
You got to navigate it.
You still got to navigate this, right?
Got to take the train.
Yeah,
Yep.
you gotta do
The
mad
bus, all that.
shit and just be
Yep.
like in the midst of like some wildness. But the one thing I will say about East Harlem is that we always had like Central Park, and I feel like Central played a big role in like keeping people grounded on like some real like, yo, let's just go to the park. Let's just walk around the park.
For us, it's a little bit different. We didn't really go towards Central Park. We spent most of the time in Marcus Garvey Park, or people call it Mount Morris Park.
Okay.
We go there to train. Still to this day, a lot of us meet up on the weekends and we still train in his name. We bow to a certain tree for him. We give thanks to him, and before we train and after we train. Always when the sun starts going down, that's when we're ready to go. So it's definitely an energy that he left there in that park. Like you said, people will get that escape to go out into Central Park and stuff like that. Since we're more like uptown, like Marcus Garvey's a little bit closer to us. So I guess and that park has always had a very, very spiritual vibe.
Oh, absolutely.
Like heavy. I don't know how heavy to get into it, but that park has its own histories and stuff. So, but it just felt like a good place to train. And like, for some reason, we've always trained there. And yeah, that's definitely the connection in the city with the park is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, because people will be like, oh, New York is this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, one thing about New York City, we got a lot of parks, bro. Like, for all of it to be, for as much concrete and buildings as we have, we do have green spaces, and like
I need some
we use
trees.
we
Yeah.
use our parks. Like we'll be in the park because it's like you need that energy with the trees and the grass and just like the open sky to kind of like you forget that you're in the city and you need that. You
I
know,
like walking through the North Woods, just like right in Central, and just get little zigzags and get lost sometimes.
go
It
up on
feels
that
good.
rock that looks over the mirror. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of little like
Light one up real quick, have a
yeah,
little munchies.
have a little time,
Hmm.
and it's like so when was the first time that you can say that you remember that you had like a connection with the other realm?
All right. So, um, when I was little, my sister Lisa and me, I know it sounds crazy, but it would feel like we would be able to talk with each other without really talking. And we were like highly intelligent. We went to talented and gifted schools our whole life, high IQ, all that shit. And we still talk about it, we joke about it, right? She knew how to read. She taught me how to read. I don't even remember her learning how to read. You know what I mean? But I remember one night she was knocked out, like sleep, and I woke up. But then I saw me, and you know what I mean? Like I was above myself. And then from there, I would watch like um I don't know how to explain it. Like anything that had to do with scary stuff or horror or anything, because I was just looking for some sort of answers to like, what was that? You know what I mean? Like, because you're like 4 or 5 years old, you're like, what the heck just happened to me? How am I floating above myself? You know, I didn't understand out of body experience. I didn't understand lucid dreaming. I didn't understand any of those since I was a child. So, and that's when I guess, and then I had a babysitter. She used to read a lot of Lovecraft books. So
Okay.
I think she would read a lot of that stuff to me when I was little. So that's where I would get a lot of those imagination, run wild dreams, you know, because from those stories and stuff like that.
That's so funny that you say that because like I had the opposite experience, right? Like I horror used to scare me so bad when I was younger because I knew like on some level that a lot of that stuff was real, like
Right.
I couldn't I couldn't differentiate between like, oh, that's real and that's not. And I've always had dreams. So I would just be like totally unsettled if I watched something. And like now as I'm older, as I understand more, I could watch it and be like, okay, like I'm not, as fearful about certain things.
Especially Freddie, for me. Like when you have an experience as a child, right? That you have either a lucid dream or an out of body experience or whatever, and you're a child, and then you're hanging out with some cousins, and there's a fucking guy that goes in your dreams and he kills people, and he's funny about it. So now you start creating like, okay, this guy could walk around in the dreams, you know what I mean? Like, let me watch how he, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was terrified of Freddy when I was a little boy, but I loved Freddy. Like, I dressed up as him Halloween maybe like 4 or 5 times in my life, especially as a child. Like, yeah, fascination of him being able to go into people's dreams or just travel in that realm, in that world, because of my experience as a young child. And as I got older, I had other experiences and more powerful dreams. Then that's when I started speaking about it with family members. And that's when I learned that it wasn't just me, it was other people in my family that have the same experiences. And that's when they start, the elders of your family start teaching you shit, and they start, giving you little stories to try to like prepare your soul, and those special baths to protect you at night, and those are things that happen when you little, when you grow up. But I think is now we have a problem because they just medicate these children so fast.
Mm.
They don't listen to them. They automatically, oh, this fucking kid's crazy. That thing, thank God nobody ever tried to do that to me and my family. And I appreciate that I come from a place of culture where they understand, like, oh no, he's a little different. We gotta send him to this cousin to go talk about this. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think we have that anymore. And I think it's a shame, especially when you coming of age, 13, 14 years old, you don't know who the fuck you are. And that's the time when you have those crazier dreams. You know what I mean? So dreams are ill.
But, so that I was just about to ask. So how would you? So this is leading right into my next question. How did your family react when they realized that you was a little bit different, that things was a little bit, not, I'm not gonna say not all the way, but that you were just a little bit cut.
Okay, so my other uncle Anthony, he's a sleepwalk, and he will I open his eyes and he'll still be in the dream. Like, he'd be like, yo, wake up, like, you know. And my other aunt, she told me one time, she goes, oh yeah, your cousin, he sleepwalks also, and he has very lucid dreams. And then they told me another person, oh, this person. So I started following the trail until I got to the source. And then I found out, like, oh no, this is something like it happens like in our family. Like, oh, this is not just me, this is all of us. You know what I mean? And in our own way too. Like, for instance, like my mom, like she don't dream sometimes for like fucking months or whatever. But then boom, now she know the future is tomorrow. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds ill, but I believe it. Like, she be like, don't go here. I don't go there. You know what I mean? She be like, oh, don't be with this person. I don't be with that person. Listen to your elders. Listen to the ones that they have sight, they have vision. You know what I mean? And that's how I been able to hone my skill. Because at first it felt like I couldn't really control myself walking around in there. And then right before you wake up, you get control. You know, like right when you're about to get out the dream, you got a little bit of control, and then it's like just going away. So no one really taught me anything, but they would share their own experiences with me, and that would help me down my own rabbit hole, I guess.
Nah, that's real because like my mom is not a dreamer like that. I get it on from my dad's side, like my dad and his family, they have but everybody don't pay attention to it. Some people just write it off like, oh, you just ate something a little weird or whatever. But I genuinely remember being little and like telling my mom like, oh, this is gonna happen, and she's like, but my mom always believed in all of this stuff, right? But she just got
Mm.
different. She just got a different abilities, and I think that sometimes, like you said, some stuff runs in families, and people, could recognize it. But sometimes your parents will have something different, and they don't necessarily know how to like help you navigate with that stuff. They be like, "Damn, I know that I believe you, but I don't really know what to do."
They just think it's anxiety or something. Oh, you got anxiety? Nah, something's about to happen. Something's about to
Yeah,
pop up.
yeah. Like
Can't fit.
my pops used to stay telling me like, "Oh, you just worry too much," and I'm like,
Mm-mm.
"Nah,
I know.
worry is if when shit don't happen. This is different. I can see some shit. I can tell you exactly what's gonna happen and with who, and y'all not listening."
Yeah. And no one, and that's where the anxiety comes from because you're not listening. Like, oh, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm trying to warn you.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, when we're teenagers, like right at puberty and even like early teenage years, that's when I felt some stuff was like real strong. Like you dealing with like heavy, like strong emotions, like you feel strongly about so many things, and
That's when the visions are stronger too. And then you get written off as teen angst. It's like, oh,
like,
it's
oh,
bugging out.
exactly, you just 15, you just upset. It's
No,
like, no, yo, like
no, something's up.
I'm feeling some stuff.
I listen to my daughter whenever she talks. I listen because it's funny. When you're in the sweet spot of this age now, I'm at 40, and I start thinking you either listen to the people really older than you or the ones really younger than you, because they're the ones that are going to give you insight. I can't even sign on to this shit a few minutes ago. I was there trying to press all these fucking buttons, and I'm like really good with computers sometimes. Guess not. You know what I mean? I
Nah,
guess I'm catching up.
real talk, real talk. So we've been talking about some of the things that we're gonna be getting into this year. Creating some stuff. What made you? What I mean, it's the scripts you've been sending me have been fantastic, bro. Like you
Oh,
said,
cool. Check this out.
what?
I'm working on it.
I see. It's
You
very
know,
sturdy.
it's gonna be a world.
Okay. okay, I like that.
Like a globe.
Like a globe, like an
Yeah,
atlas. I like that.
yeah, like a globe.
That's fire.
It's gonna be dope.
Exactly. Like you're more expressive about certain things now. Like, how was it? I like I said, you've gone through so many different like avatars. You've gone through so many different
I
seasons.
think I think whenever you have freedom, you could have the ability to be an artist. I don't think anyone who has the I think being an artist itself is just like revolutionary in itself. Just having time to sit and fucking paint when the fucking world is falling apart, or make a mask because you just want to have a different face, and people just do that shit with some paint and some fucking paper mache, and people would take it like, oh, um, I don't have time to do that. I gotta go to work. I have to go to pick up the kids. I have to cook dinner. And then there's people that do all that shit and still fucking find ways to fucking paint and do their movies, do their art. And I just feel like if I don't express myself creatively, however it's coming to me at that moment, that I'm gonna fucking have a brain attack. Like my shit's gonna go wow. Like, so I just always try to just like follow through. Like, I'm doing mask right now because I was like, all right, for the festival, I'm gonna probably do some like revolutionary outfit where like we all immigrants, because they all this deportation shit going on. That's horrible. Everybody, nobody's free until we all free kind of vibe. So I, I'm just going wherever the paper mache and the paint take me right now. So I'm in the beginning stages. I don't know. You try to be free. I had a lot of time where I've worked a lot of hard jobs, spend a lot of time either not free because you're working, or not free because you're locked away because you can't be free because people took your freedom from you or whatever. Or some people are not free mentally, you know what I'm saying? Some people are like living just like non-playable characters in this world. It's crazy. I just I just can't be like that. I just always be trying to be free. You know what I mean? Like no matter, and I hate other people not being able to be free. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate when I see an artist who can't express their art because they got time. They be like, oh no, I gotta go to work. I can't do that. And I'm like, oh, you just fucking killing your life working at a gas station or some shit. You know what I mean? Like you should be painting. You should be singing. But like I said, since we all have constraints to responsibilities, those are the people who choose to do that instead of to move forward. You know what I mean? They like, fuck it, fuck art, fuck freedom, fuck expression. I gotta pay the bills. You know,
No,
I just be like, I pay the bills and I'm gonna find my fucking time to be an artist.
exactly. Like you gotta carve out that time to like express yourself, and I don't know. I do feel like art is a spiritual exercise. Like expressing yourself is a spiritual exercise. It is. There are some people, if you don't get it, like you just said, if I don't get this out, I'm gonna explode. Like
Yeah,
if I don't write every day, or even to try to do something a little bit every day, I start itching. I'll have like a physical reaction that's like, you got to get this out. Like I love those times when the inspiration will hit you at 3 o'clock in the morning. You jump out the bed and you just start doing some shit. You're like, yo,
right.
and you know
No matter where I'm at. No matter
exactly.
where I'm at.
I don't care where I'm at, what I got. I'll be like, okay, where's my notebook? That's why I
Hmm.
always carry a little notebook and a little pen with me everywhere. Because I'm like, at least I have paper. I can always just write some shit down and just like get it out, and like the ideas will come. And I do. That's why even there's a lot of cultures that feel like the dream realm and inspiration, all those things like all connected. Like
Definitely.
again,
Definitely.
meditation, right? Like, there's been a lot of talk recently about people talking about like, when you read, do you see the things as you're reading? And there's some people that's like, I don't see shit. I just see words
I
and
see it like I could watch a movie reading a book.
exactly. So I'm like, you just fall. I could just fall into the whole world. Like I could sit in a corner just reading a book and just like get up in like a daze. Like, oh my gosh, like I was just in
Yep.
this magical place. And there's some people that don't have.
Especially if it's a good book.
So it's gonna be good. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is. I feel like I'm in it. Like, and when you
Yeah.
it's over, you feel a little sad. Like, damn, I wish there was more.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and you get so caught up in that. And I feel like art is that. Like spirituality is that. Like all of these things are connected. Like if there's people all over the world that never met each other, but they painting the same things in the same course, that has to mean that they connected on some level.
I'll give you a weird connection story real fast. My cousin one time, I had a dream that I was rollerblading, right? And I was going down, it looked like houses. It was like, it looked like in La Pela in Puerto Rico. You know how like it's like
Yeah, it goes
downhill with the
down, but it's
houses?
like a steep hill.
And but I had a dream that I was like rollerblading down the tins, the tin houses, and I was like rollerblading, right? So I woke up, I thought it was like nothing. I was fucking rollerblading in a dream in the Caribbean somewhere. That same day, my cousin posted a picture on Facebook. This is a painting that she was working on, and it's the fucking place that I was at, yo. The little houses, how they were like all stepped. And I'm like, I texted, and I'm like, Michelle, like, I was just there in a dream, like, and it's just crazy. Like, the connections with me in dreams have always been ill. But that one always, and she kept the frame for me and everything. I gotta go pick it up. Like, she said, you can have it. Like, I was like, I was there. Like, I saw this. And that was like before I was like really heavy going into like Old San Juan by myself to really see what that looked like. So I just saw that shit in a dream. You know what I mean? Like I was there. It's just bugged out. Very bugged out. So art and dreams are definitely connected. They're very connected.
Absolutely. That's so funny you say that because like I'm going back to Puerto Rico with mom. I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm taking mommy for the first time, and one of the last times that I went, I had like a deja vu moment. I feel like deja vu was also a part of like the spiritual realm. Like I was already here. Like maybe not physically, but my soul was here. My spirit was here, and I was in. It was so trippy. I was in like a canoe. Me and my homegirl did like this night kayak thing, and like I forget where we was, like somewhere on like the east part of the island, and it was like you had to kayak through like this little ravine with the
The
trees.
mangroves,
Yeah,
them coming out the water. Yeah,
yeah,
that's where I live. I
yeah.
know exactly what that's called, the mangroves.
Yo, so we're
Yeah.
kayaking, but as we're there, yo, I got this like feeling, like this tingly feeling in the back of my neck and in my body, like I was here already. Like it
The
felt
heat
like
changed. I did this already.
I was
Hmm.
like, I've been here before. I did this already. And she was like, are
That's
you
your cousins.
I was like, no, I'm not okay, but like I'm having a moment right now. And it was pitch black, but it was felt so serene, like, and I literally had been there before, like in a dream. Like
I know that feeling.
like, it was
I
like,
know that feeling.
it was so,
Like I'm back.
yeah,
Like I'm back. I'm
yeah,
back.
yeah,
I know that feeling. I think that connects us, especially us, is that you're Jamaican and Puerto Rican, but we have Arawak in our blood. And then before the Taino's not even a name, like especially got the red and everything, but like this is our subculture. You know what I mean? Like in reality, we were Arawak. Our language was different. Our dreams, our names for water and shit, everything was different. So I try to connect with a lot of that now. Like my grandfather, he was his Indio was like very important to him. Like, yeah, he's from Salina, Puerto Rico. Like, he was more of a like roots and I guess me and him are more connected like that. You know what I mean? Like the nature kind of thing. Because usually it's the females in natural nature that are more connected to nature. But my grandfather was very connected to the water, to the oceans, mountains, everything and that's why I always try to like be like that. You know what I mean? Like follow that path because it's in us. It's in all of us. And
yeah.
I think that connects our dreams too because I've seen you in a dream.
I seen you in a dream.
So,
Many times.
that's what
Many
I'm
times,
saying.
though. But it's so funny you say Arawak because my great grandfather is Arawak, and
Hmm.
and he used to be a farmer in Jamaica, and he died like tilling the land. Like that's how he was that
Yeah,
connected to the earth that like
same.
he had gotten an appendix surgery back in the day, and they tell you to be on bed rest, and the old heads don't believe in bed rest. He went right back in the field.
I did the same shit. I had mine. I was back to work 2 3 days
He went
later.
back to the field and he died, but like he
Keep
literally
going.
like he's like a part of that earth, right? So like
My grandfather did the fields of sugar cane also in Puerto Rico. That's
and
where he comes from.
when you look on the map, Puerto Rico and Jamaica are like on the same line, like with
Yeah,
like Cuba,
the
that right
archipelago.
in the
Yeah,
middle, like it's all in that same line,
we all
So
cousins.
that
We all
does mean
cousins.
something. And like when you think about, like you said, the Arawaks, and they already was connected to their cousins all over. The Carib Indians was already connected to each other. They used to get in their boat and be like, "Oh, we're going over to so and so, and we gonna just
They got this. I'm gonna go get that.
I'm gonna go get a little, I'm gonna get some of the mangoes from over there because I like the mangoes over there, and then I'm gonna bring them.
They better.
And it's like, but that's why
Yeah.
like, when it comes down to aesthetismo and everything, like I try to explain to people, like, this is something I had to practice because it's in my blood. Like we are people truly of the diaspora. We're not just
Exactly.
We're not just Indio. We're not just Hispanic. Like we're all of these.
Yeah, we're Afro-Caribbean. We're Arawak.
Yeah.
We have that white blood in us as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can look in the shades of the colors of my kids and the family and the children, the nieces, nephews.
Yes.
It looks like a fucking we are the world video in my family.
Really.
You know,
my family on both sides, like,
and you know what's even funnier when the dark ones have the light kids or the light ones have the dark kids.
Yeah, because you don't know. Come out, then you be like, oh, that's that.
Or one of them come out real white, or one of them come out real dark.
Yep.
That should be mad funny. Like it's somebody's coming by. That's a cousin or ancestor. They coming back.
They
coming back.
Come back. They just hop back in the line.
Yep, we back. We back in here.
We back. And that's so funny. That's so funny that you say that. So yeah, when we so here's a story that I can remember about us dreaming. It was like I don't know, 2018, something crazy like that. 2019. I'm still living in Brooklyn. I don't even have my own place at that time. I'm staying with my mom's, and I was supposed to go to work. I was working nights at People, and I was supposed to work from 4 to 12. And I called off of work. I remember I was like, I ain't going in. I dead ass remember waking up at 6 o'clock. Now, mind you, I wasn't supposed to be asleep at that time. I'm supposed to be at work. I'm waking up to you calling me like, yo, cuz, that was you? I was like, oh, bro, are you serious? That was me.
All right. And on my side of it, I'll tell you what happened. So I'm in the dream world. I'm in my house getting ready to go to work. So I got to leave at that time. Same time, 6 o'clock. I got to be out. I'd be there by 7. So in the dream world, I felt like I woke up and I was already operating. So I told my mom, I got to go. But if Nikki comes by, just open the door for her or whatever. And like, I guess I could still see what was happening and, over there while I could see myself walking towards 110, to get on the train. And it was you and your dad at the door. And my mom opened the door, like, oh, come in.
That was a dream. And your mom brought us in the house, and she was like, yo, I got some food, and we sat down.
Yeah, and I told her to make sure she cooks to give you food.
Yes, and she was like, yo, Gio said y'all was coming, so I got food for y'all, like, come chill. And, like, we sat, and, like, my dad has never been to your house. You've never met my dad.
And I never seen a picture of your dad, and I described him for you, and I told him, I said, he had a pair of clear frames on. Nice clear frames. And then like, my dad don't even wear glasses. I'm like, nah, he had a pair of glasses, clear frames.
I showed you.
And then you showed me the picture with him with the same exact glasses. It was like maybe the early 90s or some shit. And it was the same glasses.
Yes.
And it was like, yo, he was wearing all white and he had these clear frames on. I was like, yo, that shit was bugged out. But that's why I was like, yo, you always welcome in my house in the physical and in the spiritual and in the dream and in the others, in the astrals and all of them. You're always welcome.
Gosh. And like I said, my father has like always had dreams. Like I got it from him. Like I do believe that certain things are hereditary. Like there's certain gifts from my mom, but there's like my mom, the gift that I got from my mom is that no matter where I'm at, no matter how unapproachable I look, people always come and ask me for help. And I always know what to tell them. I always know what it is that they asking me. It don't matter how mean I'm trying to look, how like, yo, resting bitch face, all of that. They will come out of all of the crowd of people. They'll come right up to me and ask me the most obscure thing. And I'll be like, oh, I actually do know. Just this, that, and the third. My mom is like that. My mom, that's my mom.
I think always when someone comes in the street is judged like a secret. Somebody is like, while walking around to see what I'm going to do. Like, yo, you gonna give me something? You gonna give me $1 or not? Like, are you gonna help somebody else? So, man, sometimes it'd be conflicted because you'd be like, man, I always gotta give out change. I remember my grandmother; she would walk around giving out money to every homeless person. Like, Ma, you can't do that. You are gonna get robbed. Like somebody gonna, and her little purse change. She be walking around giving people little quarters and shit. Because you feel like, could this be God in disguise to see how you gonna react? You know what I mean? Or is this the fucking crazy batshit motherfucker fucking with you? You know what I mean?
But let's talk about it though, because like I honestly, and I definitely, it feeds into what we just said about like people being wired differently. And like if you have a family that respects that you're a little different and they nurture that and they give you room to explore that, you be okay.
Right.
I feel like there's people that's born into families that literally like, oh, you're crazy, and they just let them just go, and they just be like,
Right.
and I do feel like those people be connected to something, but they just, it's a lot. I see why they would like move towards drugs, heavy drinking,
Right.
like do things to kind of like, because if
Deaf it out.
yes, if nobody's validating your experience, like no, you aren't hearing voices. That isn't worth those standing right behind you talking to you, right? Like somebody
You're not schizophrenic.
Like,
You're not. You need to be by yourself in the woods, holding a tree for a little while.
Exactly. You need to go down to the river and clean yourself. You need to go to the ocean and get like
Yes.
this. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that, you could really lose your mind in this shit.
Because we're losing elders, and that's the problem in the community. Especially, we lose children to young death. You know, we losing culture as people become Americanized. We lose culture by people just thinking shit ain't cool. Like, I want to fucking, they'll rather take the self-medicate and all kind of crazy shit instead of acknowledging, oh, maybe I am a little bit different. Maybe, I was lucky though. Everybody in my family is a little different. So I was okay. But I've seen, for instance, since my family's been the family that we're all a little bit different, we've had to adopt other people who are like not able to have that experience in their home, and they would be gravitated towards my mom or to my other aunts or whatever, because they would be able to freely express themselves here amongst us, because they would probably feel they weren't getting that attention or that knowledge or shit, whatever, from, you know, their family.
Nah, it's like I said, I definitely, believe that, we choose a lot of things before we come into this life. That we choose our family, we choose our friends, and then life is us trying to make those connections again. Because that's why there's some people that you be like, yo, I feel like I knew you for like ever. And you don't have no real reasoning for it.
We've been friends forever, Nikki. Me and you've been friends forever. What about when we was in Puerto Rico? And I'm like, yo, that was another one, right? I'm like, yo, I'm going to go to Puerto Rico next week. She's like, me too. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And people always go to Puerto Rico, whatever. Then I'm like, I'll call you. I'm like, oh, where you at? Oh, I'm over here. I turn the corner in the supermarket. Who's standing in the supermarket next to me? You. to buy snacks, to meet up with me. How we in the same supermarket?
Same supermarket. I'm walking. Y'all standing
in Puerto Rico.
Like, oh, what are you doing here?
So, yeah. It's like, what path you walking, you're going to see the same people. If you keep walking that path, you want to keep bumping into them people.
And what's so crazy? Because, like, that's something that I was raised with. Like, because, I always lived outside of Manhattan. So I always had to take the train into school. And that was one of the lessons that my mom would give me on the train. She'd be like, you know that you're on the right train at the right time when you see the same people. Because everybody's riding the same way. Like, you will always see the same people at the bus stop. You always see the same people at the train. If you don't see those people, you late.
Right.
Right? If you don't see
the working class people already. Who's who.
If you don't see the crowd that you recognize, you done messed up. You're gonna be late for school. You're gonna be late for work.
You're definitely right about that.
And it's like there's something about that. And I dream about trains a lot. Like that's like a recurring.
Me too.
I dream about trains.
Not dreams, but train stations, I guess. Yeah. I had a dream on 103rd frequently. That one station on 103rd, I've dreamed there. I visited there frequently. I've had dreams.
That was a I dreamt about a lot too, because I used to go to Union Carver daycare on 106.
That's right too.
Yeah, so
I used to see
my train station, that 103rd with the brown and the brown.
It's a weird vibe. It's a weird vibe.
It's a weird vibe, but like I have so many memories of that train station, and like it's like a recurring location of like my dreams.
I've dreamt so much in our neighborhood that now I have already, it sounds weird, but I've already know the dream layout of East Harlem that's a bit different from the layout that we have now.
It's slightly different.
It's a bit different. And to me, because it's mixed of because you know dreams are just figments of imagination, memories, and reality all jumbled. So I got like 90s Harlem mixed with now Harlem mixed with memories from oh, you know what I mean? So it's all jumbled up, especially streets and shit like that. Schools. I've
Mhm.
dreamt a lot about schools, being in class, auditorium, basement, you know, walking around, you know, I guess because you're always in line. But there's probably a reason for all that shit. I don't know. I
You
never
know, I feel
understood
like
all that.
one of the dreams that I had with you, we was walking around East Harlem looking for plants. Like we was looking for like flowers and like lucky leaves. You know, it was like the most random thing. And I'm like, I need to get these plants before I get on the train. And you was like, all right, I'm gonna walk you to the train. We're gonna stop at the flower shop and we're gonna get the flowers and then I'm gonna walk you to the train.
You know me, I'm like, we gonna make the accomplish the mission. That's how I am.
It's always a mission, you know.
It's
But yeah,
always a mission.
I've been dreaming a lot about trains, and well, I've always dreamt a lot about trains, and I
That's
did have,
movement.
I
Yeah,
did
that's
have,
movement.
let me see, I'm gonna. So we did. This is so funny.
Yeah.
We did a dream experiment with each other since last month. So for 30 days we've been keeping track of our dreams. So now we're gonna compare notes to see what's going on.
Okay. I'm gonna make the first note. I didn't dream 30 times in 30 days.
I didn't dream 30 times in 30 days. I just kept track of as much as I could in that time period.
Right. So let me give you a good one. The one of the first. All right. I'll give you the ones that were, because I got ones that are just dumb. They don't really mean anything. But then the ones that were powerful, I'll go with that. Okay. So one of the ones that meant something in the beginning was I had a dream that I was walking into an old style diner, and my cousin Cookie was sitting there, and my cousin Jonathan that went to school with us, tall Jonathan, he
Cepeda?
was, yeah, he was sitting there with my other cousin. They don't know each other, but they are related. That's another
Okay.
weird thing. They are related, but they don't know each other.
Okay.
So they're both sitting at this diner, and my cousin Cookie, she has like a plate of huge pancakes, and she's pouring a big thing of honey all over it. And my other cousin's got bacon, eggs, you know, the whole works. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a burger. And they both go, oh, that's all you're gonna have? And I woke up. So then I'm like, let me reach out to my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yo, I had this dream I was in. Yo, so he came over. We got to kick it. So that was one thing right there. I got to reconnect with my cousin Jonathan that I didn't see in a while. He came over to visit.
That's
We
dope.
chilled. We had a good time. It was nice. Your turn.
All right, let's see. Oh gosh. I had a week where I was just dreaming about random men that I didn't know.
Okay.
It was like I was on a dating show of some sorts. Like I was like I wasn't on a dating show, but it felt like that energy of like here's you know.
And number 3.
But they was all of some bullshit. Like the first guy, there was one guy who told me that he was Jamaican, and that's a red flag for me. I'm sorry, I don't date Jamaican men. I don't need that drama in my life. But we was like, me and my mom were vending. Like we were at a table, and she was like selling her dolls, and I was selling my stuff, like my butters and stuff. And this guy came up, and he was like trying to help us. But I was like, bro, I don't know you like that. I don't really trust you around my mom's. And then mommy's wallet went missing. And I was like, you picked my mother's pocket? And he was like, no. And I was like, you stole my mother's wallet. And he was like helping us look for it. And then we eventually found it. He found it. And I was like, that's some crackhead shit. Because
Right.
how mommy wallet go? Because mommy was like,
And now it just appears.
it magically came back or whatever.
Yeah.
And we was like at a festival. Like it was like some type of like outdoor festival, like at a park, with a lot of people with tables and stuff. But yeah,
Wow.
it says so okay, so I made this dream journal, right? And I have
That's
like
nice.
I have the pages here. So like here, I'm gonna send you one.
I
Here is
like
like
that.
all of the little like things that you could fill in, like date, time, what time of day. So it's like what happened, who was there, where were you, how did
Okay.
you feel, and like what
I like
symbols,
that.
right? So I have made this a couple years ago, and I don't be pushing stuff the way I should. That's my fault. So I'm gonna be promoting this, obviously, but
No, push it. Push it. I'll buy
but
one.
it was
Mail it to me and I'll cash app you. I definitely want one. I definitely need one of those.
Yo, it was like, so how did you feel? It said, wary of the Jamaican man's affections, concerned that his money was missing. I suspect the mystery man stole it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This sounds like a love novel. The way it was written, you know what I mean? One of those trashy novels. I was weary of the Jamaican man. Like, like you wrote it from the white lady's perspective on the boat. Oh no.
And then, okay, no. This was another weird dream that didn't make no sense. I was this was on March 16th, and it says I was in a beauty supply store and all of the hair was red. All of the hair, the braiding hair, the wigs.
That's kind of crazy.
Like, I was looking in the box where they had like the packet. All of the hair was like the same shade of like burgundy, and I was like,
wow.
I don't want to wear no red hair right now. I'm wearing blue right now. I'm chilling, you know? And yeah, and that's literally said, how did you feel? Confused. I kept thinking, I don't want to wear red hair right now.
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. And like, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that was like those are like some of the lighthearted dreams that I've had. But
That's
then I had one that was a little sad.
Okay, I had a racy one and a sad one too.
Okay, what was your racy one?
Okay, so dream starts. I get pulled over on like 102nd, 103rd, 104th in Lexington near the supermarket, and they like get on the side or whatever. So they're like checking me and whatever, and then something else happens and I slip away. So I slip away. And I'm already, like that. And in front of my building, a helicopter, and then cops come, they bag me. But for some reason, they go and say, oh, we're going to let you go upstairs so you can get your ID. So they had a cop at my front door, and I'm going through my house looking for, like, my ID, but I'm really trying to stash a gun. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this gun? What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? And then I saw my brother who just passed, and he's like in teenager version of him with the big frames. And I go, Kyle, I tell him what's going on. He goes, I don't know, Gio. That don't sound too good. And then I woke up. That was it.
Like, no duh, bro. What you mean? That sounds too good.
Yo. Yeah, man. And then I told my mom, because my mom's been trying to dream with him, and she's been like, you're lucky. Every time I have a dream with him, like, she's like, oh, you're lucky. And I'm like, I try to share it with her, but that one was like, it's like, I can't help you here, bro. Like, you're fucked, That was crazy. So that was my racy one. What was yours?
Okay, I had one that was, hold on, because I got a few. I've been keeping notes.
Yeah, I got a few too.
I got a few. What's this one? This one was a fun kind of one. I was like, you ever seen like those water slides, like the big water slides at the park where you go on the tube, like you go.
I know what you're talking about. But without the lid.
Yeah, and it's open, and you in like the little rubber wrap.
I know what you're talking about. That. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I was there with my mom. Right? My mom, I don't know. I ain't been to no amusement park with my mom forever. And it was an older black man with like stark blonde hair. Like a little like elephant man, blonde ass hair, like blonde. Yo, and he was like standing on the back of the raft with like a stick and like pushing us down the little channel. And then we was like someplace real beautiful. It was like so sunny outside. And I had on this real nice bathing suit, and mommy she looked young. Like, it was weird. Like, she didn't look like how I'm not saying my mom looked old, but like, it was like a young.
Yeah, she was younger. Yeah.
It was like a young version of mommy because her hair was different. Her hair wasn't in locks. Her hair was like how she used to wear it in the 90s. Like, like.
Oh, she was definitely visiting.
Yeah.
That's her spirit visiting, younger spirit.
Yo, and it was like, and we were just having such a time, and the guy was nice. He wasn't like being fresh or anything like that. He was just like guiding us around this like really beautiful kind of.
That's crazy.
In my mind, I kept saying, I'm in Italy. And I've never been to Italy. I don't even know if there's a place like that exists in Italy.
Maybe because of the stick.
Yeah, so it kind of reminded me of like, I guess that's like Venice would be.
Yeah, like, the gondolas.
Yes, it reminded me of that. Like, it was a water park, but it wasn't. It was so weird. But that was like a happy kind of dream.
I think that's always good when you're on water in the dream. I've never had I've had a dream that I've jumped off a bridge and landed, and you know where the Deegan is, where that aqueduct thing looks.
Mm-hmm.
I've jumped off of that and landed in ice water, but the water was warm
Oh, that's
there,
nice.
and it was like I was trying to get on these big pieces of ice, but I couldn't like get on. They were like moving and shit, but the water wasn't cold, but it
Hmm.
was ice. You know what I mean? I don't know. See, things sometimes like they could be anything. Another one. Um, I'm with my dad. No, excuse me, he's not there yet. I'm walking down 116 and I'm about to go to the pharmacy on 116, and my dad, he passed away. He comes driving in a fucking car and he's like, get in. And he's in there with my brother, but his hair looks like an Indian. My dad had really like curly hair. Like he would wear a lot of gel, real Eddie Torres from NYPD, undercover, you know what I mean? Like that vibe. So but in the dream, his hair was like real Indio, like real straight. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, get in the car. And then he was in there with my brother, and I got to ride around with them in the neighborhood. I woke up. So sometimes they're like, they weird, you know what I mean? Because especially when you dream with the dead. When dreaming with the dead, it brings out a different ability in the family, because now it's like you have the ability to share with your family, like, oh, I just visited, like I just saw this person, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I might not be here in the physical,
But
but they still exist.
yeah, my nana visited me once. After I was like begging for her to visit me after she had died,
Nice.
and in the dream I was in our old apartment building in Vanderveer, and I was like. I came in, I see the door 3G, the apartment number. I open the door. It's the living room, the way that it used to be. And she's sitting on the couch and she's watching Jeopardy, because we used to watch Jeopardy a lot together.
I
And
love Jeopardy.
I love Jeopardy. Please.
Right.
I love Jeopardy, right? So we sit down. That's because of Nana. Like, I love Jeopardy, Scrabble, all that stuff because of her. So I sit down and she's like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh my God, it's her. Like, she had a way that she would like do she had like this little thing that she would like rock and like hum to herself or whatever. She was
Her
like, so
vibe.
cute.
Her
Yo, that
vibe.
was just her vibe. And she was like sitting there
Yeah.
like watching Jeopardy, like, And I was like, Nana? And she said, you could see me? I was like, yes, I can see you. She was like, how many fingers do I have up? I was like, yo, stop playing with me. I can see you. Like, it was her. Like, it was so funny because
Nice.
even the way that she held her hand, like everything
Yeah.
about her. And I realized, I said, oh, she's probably sitting next to me all the time and I can't see her.
Hmm.
That's why she was surprised that I could see
Or
her.
visits.
Yeah,
Just pops up once in a while. Yeah.
but the way she said it, she said, you could see me? And it's like it was only like a little over a year after she had died. So you got to think like they got to adjust on the other side too.
You're very adept, because I've had that experience with my grandma too. The same experience. She was in the hospital, but the reason it felt so real was because before we got in the hospital, I had to walk through this place where they sold flowers and like, gift shop kind of vibe. So it's very descriptive. Like it was in Houston Street, downtown, like hospital. So we get upstairs, see her in the hospital room, and I wake up in the dream because I realize that she's dead. And I'm like, I said, Grandma, you're dead. And she goes, seguro que sí. And I'm like, yeah, Grandma, you dead. You died like a year or two ago. Like, she's like, all right, no me habla así. Like, don't tell me that. Like, don't talk to me like that. And then I was like, nah, for real. And then she believed me. She goes, oh, I'm wet. And then it was just so weird because I skateboarded home. But I had that same experience with my grandma. Like, I saw her and I got to tell her, like, yo, but I wasn't really that close with that grandmother, but it was cool to see her. You know what I mean? And that was with her son, who also has those same dreams like that I have. So it was like, maybe he was with me also. So
Yeah.
dreams is ill.
They're so ill. And like I said, it's I did have a sad one though. My sad one was, I don't know if I told you, but I was gonna adopt this cat, right? So
Yes,
I went
I
down to
know the cat. Those
yeah,
bastards.
I went down to the animal shelter, say on a Wednesday, and I picked out the cat, and her name was Ginger, and I was like, oh, I want to come back for Ginger. They were like, oh, Ginger's on antibiotics, you got to come back next week. I said, okay, that's cool, I don't mind. Like, let her finish her medication, and I'll come back. So in the week, I got everything ready. I got the cat box and the little food and all of the stuff, and then say I'm supposed to go back on Wednesday, Monday night. I have a dream and I see Ginger like in this room with like the steel walls.
Oh, hell no. Help! Help me! Help!
I'm like, oh, I'm coming, baby. Like, I'm coming to get you. And she's like, no, no. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just felt so, I was like, damn, do I call the shelter? What do I do? I said, no, I'm just going to go on Wednesday. I'm just going to go. But I wrote it down.
Fucking assholes.
I wrote it down here where it says, how did you feel? It says, I was worried that Ginger wouldn't be at the shelter when I got back. And I dreamt that on 3/17, and on 3/20 I went and she wasn't there.
Those motherfuckers. That was premonition. That was you getting a warning.
Poor Ginger she was sending out the warning shot, the little signal for help.
Help! The little antennas was rolling.
Because she was when I went there, I we had a little connection. I put my finger in the cage and she like rubbed me and she meowed at me and I was like, oh, because I said I wanted the cat that's gonna pick me. I was like, I didn't have no preference. I said I want the cat that's gonna gravitate to my spirit, and that was the cat that gravitated to my spirit. So I've been very a little.
Maybe she still come visit you. Leave a little snack for her.
Yeah, my little cat.
A little connection. Yeah, a little ghost cat.
little companion. I have a dog in the Astral. I have a dog,
that's dope.
That's with me. So I see him sometimes.
Right.
So now
I've never had a pet, like as far as like a furry pet. I've only had like my family, my little brother had really bad asthma, so they always had like fish and iguanas and all kind of stuff. But I've always wanted a dog or a cat or something like that. But maybe in the future, because now even Jasmine, she's allergic to cats and dogs. So,
you had a dream about me recently, having a dog.
I had a dream. Wait a minute. I had a dream about you recently, but the one that I remember off the top of my head was that we were in school. We were in '99, and we were in the back, in the other side, not the back of the school. I remember the red
courtyard that was on.
Yes, on the other side. And I woke up, and there was Steven and all of us from school, and I was like, oh man, was that a dream or was it a memory? So that's another conversation. Sometimes I be having like memories or something's on your mind and you go to sleep with it. But that was the last dream that I had that I remember with you. We were sitting on those steps and we were all just a bunch of us just hanging out. And it could be a memory, but to me, it felt more like, what are we going to do? Like we were like kids, but we were adults. Like we were just hanging out there. We weren't in school. We were like, could have been after school. You know what I mean? It could have been. It was just weird. It was very odd. But it was a good vibe. That's another thing. I like when I dream and when I'm in the setting of people like that I was in classmates with, because I'm pretty good relationship with everybody I went to school with. So it's a good vibe,
No, of course.
Like fucking Jeff. He's another one. And the dream that the world's fucking coming to an end. He works for MTA. He's standing there with the police. And I'm like, yo, Jeff, you not worried about the aliens and shit? He goes, nah, man, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm like, what the fuck? So I called him, and I'm like, yo, I'm fucking dreaming with you that the world was gonna end. You there with your MTA vest and shit on? And he's like, yeah, I would have probably did the same shit.
That's so funny. Like, I don't know, like, it's definitely, it does. Sometimes, like I said, I tell people all the time, like, sometimes it's unsettling. Sometimes you see things that's like a little bit,
hard.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Like you're like, damn, I hope that's not what's gonna happen. Or I hope that's not what's happening, because that's really fucked up. And then sometimes it's really sweet, like when you have those visits with the ones that passed on, and you're like, yo, like, thank you for coming to visit. Like, come by anytime.
I try to use my dreams for that. Like, I try to, like, weaponize the dream world. Like, nah, I'm going to visit people, or I'm going to try to figure some problems, or I'll go to sleep with, you pray a little bit, be grateful for what you have, and then if you're lucky, maybe someone take me get some knowledge from something that I need help me figure the problem out.
Nah, real talk. Like that's why I never discount the dreams. I never discount them. I never just be like, oh, that's just because sometimes there'll be things like it makes me more aware of the material world. Like there are things in this house that nobody can see but me, and maybe somebody who can
Yes,
sight. Like,
yes,
and there's some things that like I've realized like over the course of walking in my paths or whatever of like there's certain places where this person wants to be put over here or this energy
right.
needs to be over here or I got to put the
Let
picture
me
up.
open the window. Let
Yeah,
me.
I got to put
Mhm.
this plant over here because so and so likes it, and like it's so funny because you see this painting of the Indio when we had my Misa here in October. They was like, yo, your Indio sitting right there underneath that painting, bro. That's where all of my gardening supplies and shit lives. Like,
Fire.
like all of the gardening supplies, all of the extra pot. Like he likes that area.
Yeah,
Like, I did not consciously put the picture there.
it happens.
He probably was like, oh, put it there.
Yeah, we're gonna go right. Yeah, we're gonna go right
And
here.
I was like,
Yeah.
I guess it looks okay there. I never not really thinking twice about it. And I think that that's also part of it too. Like, there's some people, like, I don't hear the way that everybody else hears. There's some people that truly hear.
Yes.
My vision is in the
True.
dream world, but they still touch me in the waking
Here
world.
too. Oh yes, definitely.
And now as I've gotten older, I've just gotten better at just being like, you know what, just go with it. Like, it might seem a little weird. It might seem
No, man. You'll find
odd.
your tribe, the people that understand what you're talking about. Like the people that are listening to this right now, they're probably in the same space where like they're probably the only person in their family, or they probably come from a family like me where other people are like that. So this is a wide spectrum. But you will find the people that understand you. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Like you have gifts, you have sight, you have clairvoyance, you have, cognition that other people don't have. Sometimes we put all that shit off, but we leave it to our mothers. We go, oh, our grandmothers and mothers, they know everything. Like they know what you did before they find out. They already tell you, oh, I heard you did this. Nobody told them nothing.
Nobody told them nothing.
A little bird. That's what my grandmother would say. She'd say, oh, a little bird told me. That she would tell my mom that or tell me that. Oh, little bird, un pajarito dijiste, da, da, da. No. You lying. You have foresight. You don't want me to bug out and shit. You telling me the truth. We gotta listen to our elders is very important. And I think now, like my daughter, she has the thing where she doesn't dream very much, but neither does my mom. But I guess when they do dream, they're very powerful.
Yeah, and I think that that's it is important. Like you said, we gotta listen to our elders because we getting older. It's like there's gonna be people that come behind us that look to us for guidance. So I feel like, or even just having these types of conversations and just like staying connected in this
Yeah.
is like, there might be some things that I don't understand that I could be like, listen, my son is going through X, Y, and Z. Call your uncle because I don't know. Like, call Theo Gio. Call him.
Yeah.
Go over there.
It's the truth.
And that's like that's truly how a lot of us that have like certain gifts or whatever, it's not always your biological family that's going to be the one.
No.
You see certain things, like
Definitely. They sent me the fresh air fund.
when he left home and went to the temple to like learn about the mysteries.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was just about to say when I was about 12, 13, my mom just felt bad for me. Like, oh, this kid ain't got nothing to do in this concrete. She sent my ass to fresh air fund. I got so connected with nature over there. Oh my God. I came back like I didn't want to leave. I was just in a little sharp reservation upstate New York, up near Fishkills or whatever. And I guess, that's important too, man. I didn't realize how that's probably why that company gets so much bread, because it's a life-changing experience to see the stars at night when you never seen them. You know how many kids in the neighborhood never seen the stars? How you going to connect with your ancestors? You don't even see them. You can't see them. You know what I mean? Because they out there. That light, it still exists.
And
like
a lot of time, I went to sleepaway camp. I grew up camping as well. So it's like when you think about how you're born in this life with this spiritual cord, right? Like you're born with ancestors, you're born with spirit guides, and then you acquire some. Like some come to you over the course of your life.
Yeah, like friends.
They
roll with you.
Like, oh, I see what you want. I'm gonna rock with you. But I always think back to when I was little about like I've always felt a presence of other beings around, right? Even though I
Same.
couldn't explain, I could always tell there's some stuff. And my grandmother said it. She used to be like, "Yo, you should come out your face and say some stuff that I couldn't even be mad at. Like, I wouldn't even know where you got that from because I know you didn't hear it nowhere. Like, it wasn't you
Yeah,
that said it, you know." So, like you said, like even
it's
being
true.
connected with nature and like even living in a big city like New York, you
The
know.
dreams change too when you go to the Caribbean. Like when I go to Puerto Rico, and I like the first. I guess it's because your body starts to purge the city out of it.
Mhm.
Like you know what I mean. And that fucking first dream that you have over there, well, for me at
Woo!
least,
No, it's the
it's
same for me.
crazy.
It's wild.
It's
That first night, when I go
crazy.
to Jamaica, that first night in Jamaica is like,
Whoa.
whoa, like everybody,
Hmm.
like, oh, she's back.
Wake up sweaty and everything. You got to take a shower.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
up that early in the morning before the sun comes out. You hear all the birds and all the
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
you get up mad early, you just go stand out on the veranda and just stand out there like barefoot, like you walk in the dirt, like it's all of the things that
Waiting for the sun to come up.
you just be so
Waiting for
happy.
it. Yeah. I do that shit. Oh, that's what I love to do.
And then
And
everybody
I
in the house
like me
wake up,
one.
like,
And
yo, what you doing up? And be like, yo, I couldn't sleep, you know, like
one time, check it out. We took my dad's ashes and I took him to the beach in Yaoca in Puerto Rico, and I put him in the water, and he was very connected to iguanas. Like that was his thing, right? So the next day I went to sleep, and I go into the backyard, and this huge iguana just walks by. And I've been there so many times and I've never seen any iguanas there. And he just walked by and he gave me like that. Like, yo, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? Thanks for bringing me back. I appreciate it. And then he just moseyed along. He just went around his day. So I think especially when I'm there, I feel like I'm a fish in the water. Like when I'm not there, I feel like I'm a fish out of the water. Like when I'm in New York, I feel like I'm drying up. My hair is different. My eyes are darker. My skin is lighter. I fucking feel weak. I don't belong here. It's like I belong over there because
exactly.
the air. Once I get off the plane, the
That's
pressure.
the way that air hits you, that humidity hits you, yo, your
Whoa!
skin, everything feels different. Like I'm
Yes.
so looking forward to getting a little color back. People be like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
talking?" Like, no, I know how I'm
You
supposed
know
to
the
look.
difference is, yeah.
I know how
I,
I'm supposed to feel. Like that salt water, that first time you go to the beach and you just dip in the salt, like it's truly
it
it
cleans
restores you.
everything off you. Yeah, it
So
definitely
you
cleans
just
you.
come back like, oh my gosh, I feel so like myself, you know.
I'm so happy you're going.
Thank you, thank you. I'm excited. I'm just again, I'm glad we had this talk, bro. Like,
Me too. I can't wait to find out about your dreams when you come back from the island.
oh,
I'm
of
pretty
course,
sure you're gonna
I'll
have.
keep you posted. I'm taking my journal with me, and I'm gonna send you a journal. Like I
I
said, I'm
want
gonna send you
one.
a journal. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything? Any words of advice for anybody out there
No,
that's searching?
I just I will always say, if you want to dream better, watch your diet. Try to take care of yourself. I know you see me smoking a lot of pot, but that's probably about the extent of my vices. So a lot of water. The more you hydrate, the better you dream.
Okay, I like that. And I will say, write things down. You know, it does help to just keep a little notebook by your bedside, so that way, as soon as you get up, you could just, even if it feels like gibberish, just write it down because
Yeah, I got some stupid shit, just colors sometimes, like red,
just
blue.
random things. You
Mhm.
know, like you write it down,
Yeah.
and over the course of the day, sometimes you'll be like, oh, that means this or that means that. You know, and even sometimes weeks later, you'll be able to connect some dots and be like, oh, that's what that meant. You know, so it's like it's your own personal storyline. You know,
It is, and that book is gonna help because I need more guidance because my shit like chicken scratches. It's just like, you know, that's a little bit more structured. Like now I'm gonna get up and try to like spit it out, you know? It feels like you gotta fart, like I gotta
nah,
let it
you have
out.
no, you got it just feels like that. Like as soon as you get up, you're like, what
The
the.
brain,
And
yeah,
sometimes, like I wake up sometimes talking, like I was mid
yeah.
conversation with the person, like such and such,
What a movie.
and then you're like, oh, damn, you know, like I didn't mean to wake up
Definitely.
like that, you know. So yeah, this has been so dope. Cause thank you so much for coming on.
Nah, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too. I'm always here. I'm grateful for you always, being part of my family and always keeping us in your prayers and in your good spirits. And I always know that we keep you in the same.
Loose to that. Loose to that. And with that being said, this has been another episode of the How to Be Magical podcast. My name is Nikki Buchanan. I'm the owner of Soul Things Botanica. You can find me online at soulthingsbotanica.com. You can find me on Substack at soulthings.substack. It's $6 a month if you feel like you want to help support the podcast because it's free. The podcast is always going to be free because we like to spread the knowledge and we need to, help this is my community service, truly.
That's right.
So I always want to keep the platform free. But if you ever want to support me, you can go to soulthings.substack.com. And for $6 a month, you could just, help a sister out. And you can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, or all the places. Y'all know where to find me. And again, thank you so much, Gio, for coming on and sharing.
Anytime.
This has been From Taft to the Astral Plane, Gio's Unconventional Wisdom. And with that being said, y'all, until next time, keep it black, keep it beautiful, and peace.